Data frame is the most common data structure you will deal in R. It is similar to SPSS or Minitab or Excel worksheet. Data frames are 2D objects. Data frames contain columns and rows only. Matrices are also 2D objects. However, matrices are homogeneous in nature. All data are same type. In data frames, different columns can contain different modes of data. When creating a data frame, we follow 3 rules: variables are in columns, observations are in rows, observed values are in cells. Let's see how to create a data frame using data.frame function in R. First, if you want, you can save the object. In order to save the object, you can give a name for your data frame. And we use data.frame function to create a data frame. Inputs to the data frame function are vectors of identical length. For example, like this. Here we have 3 vectors, and all of these vectors are comma separated. The length of the first vector is 4, the length of the second vector is 4, the length of the third vector is also 4. The first 2 vectors are character vectors because those elements are enclosed within double quotations. And all of these vectors are comma separated. Their lengths are identical. Each vector represents a column, and each vector can be of a different data type. It could be character, integer, or double, or any data type. R will create a data frame with the variables that are named the same as the vectors used. For example, in this case, the name of the data set is Corona, or in other words, the name of the data frame is Corona. The name of the first vector is ID. And you can see here the name of the first variable is also ID. These are the values of that vector. These are the observed values of the variable ID. The values here. The next vector or the second vector name is location, and the second variable name is location. Third vector is test underscore results. Here the name of the third variable is test underscore results. These are some useful functions that you can use with the data frames. Call names function gives column names or variable names. Length function gives the number of columns or the number of variables. Dim function gives the number of rows and number of columns. Row function gives the number of rows. Summary function gives summary statistic for each column. Stir function gives internal data structure of the data frame. This is useful to inspect the data types of the columns. You can see in this data frame we have 4 observations and 3 variables. First variable is ID and its data type is character, and these are the observed values. Second variable is location, data type is character, these are the observed values. Third variable is test underscore results. This is the data type, logical, and these are the observed values. Now let's see how to create now let's see how to convert a matrix into a data frame. First of all, I create a matrix called mat. Now I want to convert this matrix into a data frame. For that, what you can do is you can use the as.data.frame function. And inside the data function, you can pass the name of this matrix. The new name of my data frame is mat_df. In this case, you can see it automatically labeled the columns as B1, B2, B3, and B4. Next, let's see how to do subsetting with the data frames. Subsetting means extract a subset from the data frame. In other words, this can be used to select and filter variables and observations. Extract columns and rows. The first one is head function. Head function can be used to extract the first few rows of the data frame. Head function returns the first 6 rows by default. If you want to extract the first 3 rows of the data frame, you can pass the value here. Now this will extract the first 3 rows of the data frame. Similarly, tail function returns the last few rows of the data frame. Tail function returns the last 6 rows of the data frame by default. If you want to extract the last 2 rows, then you can pass the number here. Then you will get the last 2 rows of the data frame. You can also use square brackets to extract the rows. Within the square bracket, you have to specify the row index. So the first one is mat_df. I want to extract the 4th row of the mat_df data frame. So you can see here, I'm getting the 4th row. 4th row is here. Next, I want to extract first row. I want to extract the first row and the 3rd row of the data frame. So first, I store those values inside a vector. Then I pass the name of the vector within the square bracket here. This is for the row index. Data frames are 2D objects. The first position is to define the row index. Second position is to define the column index. So here, first position, I pass this name index. Now here in the output, I have the first row and the 3rd row of the data frame, mat_df. Now let's see how to select variables using a data frame. There are 2 ways to select variables from a data frame. using variable names. Second approach is using variable index. Here we are going to discuss the first approach. Furthermore, we can further divide this one into two methods using the dollar sign and using the square bracket. If you are using the dollar sign, first of all, you have to take the name of the data frame, then the dollar sign, and the name of the variable that you want to extract. Name of the data frame, dollar sign, and name of the variable that you need to extract. Here in this case, the first values corresponds to the first variable, 1, 2, 3, 4. The second method is by using the square bracket. So this is the name of the data frame. This position is to define the row index. This position is to define the column index. Since we have names for columns, now we can use the name here. The name should be specified within double quotations. Always, when you're passing names, the name should be specified within the double quotations. Again, this will give the values corresponds to the first variable. Observed values of the first variable. Second method is by using index. So simply what you need to do is name of the data frame, square bracket, and you can specify the column index. In this case, this extract the values corresponds to the second variable. If you are passing the index of the column, then you do not need to specify it within the double quotation. Only the variable names are specified within the double quotation. Your turn. Now, I want you to write R codes to enter these information into a data frame.